Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Hayden with the Hill Pursuit Podcast. We have a good one today. This is episode 85 of the show. And surprise, surprise, we have all three of us in on this episode. Me, Ken, Mitch, all three are back. And honestly, we don't even remember the last time this happened. So we really hope you enjoy this one. I'll cut right to the chase. This episode, if you can last through the first 10 minutes of us just kind of catching up and saying hey and talking about life. Um, this episode primarily discusses what an off season should look like, um, perhaps what an in season could look like, depending on the athlete, depending on the discipline of the athlete, whether or not you can make improvements in your sport or outside of your sport during these different seasons, what it should look like in the off season, and whether or not an athlete can expect to make improvements within their sport in season, or if that athlete could make improvements elsewhere outside of their sport during the in season, if they plan it appropriately, if they build correctly when they can do it, if they build correctly during the off season. What does that maybe look like in the in season? Now, of course, there's a lot of individual variability with all of that, but we do have a really nice, a good discussion on the differences between season to season. So again, this is episode 85. If you're looking to reach out to us at all, you can reach out to me directly, hillpursuit@gmail.com. You can find contact info, coaching info, this episode and all other episodes all on the website, hillpursuit.com. And then, of course, you can just find us on any and all social media, just at Hill Pursuit, and reach out to us there, start a conversation, like, subscribe, share our stuff. We would really appreciate that. And of course, we appreciate those of you who listen and follow along regularly. We know it's a handful, maybe not a ton, but we know it's a handful, and we do appreciate it. So thank you for listening. This is episode 85 of the Hill Pursuit Podcast. Enjoy the show. Episode 85, we got all three. Well, I guess we have 2.5 because Ken is driving and hopefully driving responsibly. And so we'll probably only have audio from Ken for a little bit. But in any case, all three of us, which is awesome. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, I don't even know the last time it was that we had all three.
Yeah. I'm like,
I think that,
what?
oh no, I was just gonna say probably I think it was the last time I did the pull-ups or whatever.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I'm also I need to just say right off the bat, super jealous of Mitch's background, which is, if you're just listening on a podcast, which is like a beautifully built like man warehouse with a power rack in the background. Meanwhile, I have to blur my background because it's just full of like Disney princess toys and stuff in my basement. But hey, whatever. It works. It works for now.
Hey, I can't wait to join the party, dude. I plan on having that power rack with the the Frozen posters behind it.
Yeah, so. I know. I guess technically, if I panned the screen over a little bit, you'd see the pain cave. You can kind of see it blurred, but yeah. So how the heck is everybody? Mitch, what's up with you, man? I love that spot.
Yeah, man. It's long properties. Just we're finally on the property. So the pole barn kind of serves dual purpose between storage unit and a gym. So yeah, man, it's good. I don't think I talked to you guys like, hunting season was very successful this year, and traveled a little bit, and then just everything's good, man. I can't complain whatsoever. So
awesome. Let's just, dude, tell us about hunting season. Where'd you go? Like, tell us. I kind of know where you went, but just for the show, like, tell us where you went and stuff you were doing, and just tell us about it.
Yeah, so I was lucky back home. I killed like a small one just with the bow, kind of right off the get-go. back here just to get some meat in the freezer. So it was like an early season. Actually the first year I ever killed on the new property, so that was cool. And then like fast forward November, we went out to Idaho, and we were successful out there. I shot a good one. So it was a little bit of luck, so that was really cool. And then come back, and I shot one back up in Pennsylvania. So it was a super good it was a good year. A lot of meat. We should be just fine next season.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Was there like a ton of like, what was Idaho like? Was there like a lot of did you have to like hike a while to get to, you have to backpack anything out, or?
So where I killed him, we didn't have to backpack anything out there. Just by happen chance, where there was a logging road not too far away, so we were kind of able to drag him down to the logging road and get like something there to pull us out. But we did a couple hunts. We did a couple hunts a days before and a couple days after, where we hiked, I don't know mileage wise, but pretty much all uphill, and it was pretty gnarly. Like great out there, it's like very mountainous. And then we had one day it was kind of dicey. We went to like same spot, went super high, just so we were trying to like glass another hillside, and it started to just dump snow.
Oh,
and
really? Dang.
Yeah. And coming down, like, actually it was like, no, I don't think any of us were worried, but you definitely had to be careful, because it's not like back here, like you fall on a mountain, like, you get back up, like there could be actual consequences out there a little bit more. So no, it was cool. Definitely tested the fitness a little bit. It was cool. My old man has been training his butt off, so it's pretty cool. I mean, he always, no matter like how, no matter what, like he always could like walk. It was like crazy. Like the guy could not train, and he could just has a knack for just walking. But it was really cool to see. Like now, like his motor was awesome. So,
dude, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, them good old genetics, bro.
What did you say?
Genetics.
I said those good old genetics, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. Ken, what's the latest with you? I mean, last time we chatted, you basically said any day within the week, right? So it's been a few days, so you're inching closer.
Bro, it's so weird, man. It's like, I'm obviously just so freaking excited, man. But it's like at the same time, though, too, it's just like, you just want it to happen, because like they give you obviously a due date. They let you know like all these things in advance, but it's just like, I don't want to call it like anything bad, obviously, but it's just like the anticipation is killing me more than like the actual day is, I feel like. So, and I can only imagine what Grace is going through mentally. I mean, physically, she's freaking, dude, I think she could probably still freaking deadlift over 225 right now, even like 9.5 months pregnant. She's not complaining about nothing, man.
Wow.
But yeah, dude, it's just it's just mentally, it's just like she just wants it to happen, dude. So
yeah,
I'm still working and training, like, it's just a normal day. But I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't like all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Just keep your phone a little closer and turn up the volume a little bit, just so you don't miss that.
Oh, bro, I mean, I can tell you one thing, man. I'm normally the guy that leaves my phone like in our like little break room and stuff when I'm training people, because obviously these people are paying me for paying me for my time, and I don't want to take away from it, but they all understand that I'm like, quote unquote, like on call nowadays. Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, I'm just super excited, bro. And I mean, dude, the whole at-home birth is gonna be wild, and I can't wait to experience all that. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. How far is work from home? Like, if you were to get a call, you get home pretty quick.
Should I answer this question responsibly, or like
per the law, per the speed limit?
Well, in case you're wondering, the speed limit in California, it says a number on the sign, but you might as well add like 15 to it. So like We'll just
Okay.
call it like probably about a 13 to 18-minute drive, depending on the day.
Oh man,
I mean,
yeah,
right
that's
now,
nothing. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, well, bro, I mean, right now, since it's 6 p.m. on the West Coast right now, so it might even, dude, it could take me 45 minutes to drive freaking 6.8 miles.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, that's so funny though about the like your clients understanding that you're essentially like on call.
yeah.
For my this is a really funny story, and you know, the odds of this happening are wild, but for my third, when you know, when we were in your position now, like the any day type of feeling, I told Morgan, I told my wife basically like don't don't even text me unless it's happening. Like it was literally like we were within 2 or 3 days because I'm like in the office and like I always have my watch on. So if I get a notification, like I get a buzz to my watch or whatever. So I'm just like looking at it nonstop, and all my students know that I'm checking, and it could be any like second. My phone updates itself like in the middle of the day, and then it turns back on, and you know how with an iPhone you have to like reopen it, you have to like put your passcode back in. So I'm like, there's no chance this phone is updating when she's trying to like get in touch with me. Dude, I had like 6 missed calls and a couple SOS text messages from my wife. I could not believe it. I was like, you have to be kidding me. I called her immediately, like freaking out. I was like, I'm sorry. You have no idea what just happened to my phone. It literally was like 6 minutes, like not even. And yeah, my phone did this little update. And of course, that was the exact moment she's like, I need you to come home. It was, I couldn't even believe it. It's funny now, but it really wasn't funny then.
Dang.
Man.
Well, dude, I mean, I can tell you right now, man, it takes a lot for me to, just get flushed with anxiety and stress. But, dude, I mean, every time I get a text message, every time I get a call from her, because I've been getting them more frequently because she's obviously on maternity leave, and she'll just call me, when I'm in the middle of training somebody, which I don't have a problem with, obviously. But nowadays, I'm kind of in the same boat with you since we are creeping up on that day. It's like, I don't mind you calling me, but like maybe open up with immediately I'm not going into labor,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
go
dude.
with, yeah, and then follow up with whatever you got to say, because like it's just, dude, I'm like half asleep, after training a bunch of people in a row, and then I get a call, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this timing is terrible.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, but yeah, man, I know where you're coming from though.
Yeah, frick. All right. Well, we talked a little bit last time about some of Ken's like goals related to just training and fitness and stuff now that he's about to be, fully engulfed in the dad life. So Mitch, fill us in. What are you doing right now? And like where are you like in what you would define as like your season? Like what kind of stuff are you into?
Yeah, man. I honestly I can't say I'm in anything crazy at this point.
Okay.
Fall kind of came back from like a 3-week school. I kind of just went back worked on some strength work, participated in Squatober. So
Nice, nice.
that was a good time. So then yeah, I didn't condition too much during that month just to kind of keep up with the squatting. I mean, I did some stuff, but once November hit, kind of start picking that up again, and yeah, kind of jacked the conditioning up like the last like 2 months, just to kind of get back in rhythm of that, and just kind of all around, I'd say, quote unquote off season. If I had to label it anything, so kind of like train like I'd say like a football player, like in this off season. Now I kind of switched it up, and kind of hitting a little bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, that's funny.
So,
You just brought up. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I say I wish I had something more exciting at this point, but it's kind of just
Yeah, it's the
just
time of
kind
year.
of staying in the game. So I'll
Yeah.
do some fun. I mean, I guess I could throw this in. Me and one of my buddies, we've been doing some like little like quote unquote like mental challenges. So like we went on a 3-mile rock run on the beach like a week and a half ago, and it was nighttime. Then we decided to jump in the ocean. So it's pretty cold. So that was a good time, and it was just like off a whim thing. So did that, and then yeah, just been throwing some like fun stuff in. Like I said, not there'll be like maybe one day a week where we'll have a couple guys like I'll train with, and we'll just put something together like a team thing and just kind of get after it. So
Nice. Dude, that's the time of year, though. I mean, that's where we're at. Just kind of staying ready so you don't have to get ready once stuff starts ramping up. So, but yeah, that's funny. You mentioned Squatober. I haven't participated in that for years myself, but I know some other people who right now are doing in January. They're doing like a competition to just swim as many meters as possible in January, which is really, really cool. People are like just in the pool like 4 to 5 days a week, just swimming their butt off, which is wild. And then I guess the same kind of a challenge transitions to cycling in February. I don't know if it transitions to running. I think at that point in March, too many people are probably like into a specific season where they can't just wake up and run every day. They have to do other things. But yeah, so maybe they're not swimming every single day, 7 days a week, like Squatober, for the month. But still, I know a lot of people who are swimming like freaking dolphins right now. It's pretty wild. Ken, does that sound like fun to you?
You couldn't pay me money to swim, so
yeah,
I can tell you one thing, man. Unless there is a event on the other side that requires me to dip myself into the water and swim from one point to another, you're never going to see me in a pool. You will
No
never see me in a pool.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, but
It's easily, dude, I can tell you one thing, man. It's easily my least favorite form of exercise I've ever done.
really,
Yeah, dude. It's so, bro, it's so freaking boring to me, bro. I'm not trying to say anything too bad because I know obviously a lot of people that, do the big three, bike, swim, run, listen to this podcast, but I'll just be
dude, say
100%
whatever you
honest.
want.
Oh, dude, yeah, dude. First off, I suck at swimming. I'm not built for it. I've talked about it enough on this podcast.
Yeah.
Second, it's just like, why in the world would I volunteer to sit here and swim in a pool at a 24-hour fitness when I'm fighting people for lanes? And then it's just like, yeah, man, I'm good. You smell like chlorine afterward.
I hate that. I know too many people right now who are still like signing up for lanes. It's ridiculous. Like I haven't done that in like over 2 years. Well, I'm lucky with where I'm at, but some people during COVID, when it started coming back, you had to start signing up for lane times, and it just never went away at a lot of places. It's ridiculous, and I like personally, I would go somewhere else if I had to do that. So I definitely get that that like complaint about swimming because that would be miserable. It would be absolutely miserable if you had to do that. Thankfully I can basically show up anytime that there's open swim at my YMCA, and I have no issue at all, none whatsoever. And if there's someone like if they're all taken, I know most of the people. I can just be like, hey man, can I just jump in with you? And like it's super easy. So yeah, there's no signing up or anything. But yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, bro. At the 24, there was a man that almost saw my wrestling skills there. Because we got into a little bit of we almost got into a little confrontation over a lane, so that was fun. So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, like I can understand why people want to do it. It's obviously a great form of exercise when it comes to low impact forms of cardio and all that other stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when I'm like 65 or 70 years old and broken, maybe I might start.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I was like, wait until you need that low impact exercise.
Yeah, pretty much the only time. What's that? Sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was gonna say, man, the only time you're ever gonna see me swim again is if I somehow get coerced into doing another triathlon, or if I basically have like zero cartilage left in my knees. So
probably in like a couple of years.
Yeah, actually, yeah, based off of me front squatting
based off
today.
The knees.
Yeah, based off of me front squatting today, probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So real quick, when Mitch, you were just talking about, in the off in the off season, dude, something came up recently where I was having a conversation with someone about like ramping things up towards the season and like
Mhm.
what it looks like. Um, Not necessarily like how exactly to do it, but the timing of when it happens and then what it looks like in terms of whether it's like an intensity adjustment, a volume adjustment, anywhere in between, some stuff like that. And the conversation kind of got steered towards, well, if you have a really strong off season, then when it comes time to ramp things up, the ramping, like whatever it is, right, intensity, volume, whatever, it's not going to feel as like drastic, um, because you've maintained or built some fitness over the off season. So I don't know. I wanted to just, that came to my mind as you were talking about the off season, Mitch. It literally, I had the conversation with somebody today, and it was just like so important to just touch on that. Like you have an off season. It doesn't matter what your sport is. If you don't even have a sport, you're gonna have like a cycle of heavy lifting, lighter lifting, higher intensity, lower intensity, more volume, less volume, whatever it is. If you're running, if you're lifting, if you're swimming, whatever. And even if you're not competing in anything, I think it's just really, really important that people focus in the off season because I see a lot of both, especially now that I have a handful of athletes. I see a lot of both, and some I don't see at all. But I see a lot of, people who are super, super consistent for, 4 months where there's nothing happening, um, October, November, December, January. And then it's just like, boom, like races are like a couple months away all of a sudden. So, yeah, things start ramping up if they're not now, like very soon, right? So, at least in the world of triathlon, maybe like marathon running too, right? But and then on the flip side, I see people who just kind of like, oh, the season's over, and before they know it, it's like 4 months have gone by, and you've like maybe trained once or twice a week, if that, and there's really no purpose to it. And it's just like, oh no, like we have to basically like you're starting over. You're starting over if you do nothing structured in the off season. So um, it just came to my mind when you were talking about that. So I always wanted to bring that up because I had a conversation about the importance of having a very strong off season.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the off season, that's where you're building a solid foundation and you're kind of setting up what the season should be. And essentially, and I can't speak so much for like you guys. I never really, most of the sport I have ever participated in is pretty much you compete frequently in like a short amount of time, like, hey, you're having a game every week for 10 weeks, or, you're wrestling, 5 to 8 times on a Saturday, and then,
Yeah.
you know, maybe the same next day, and then you're required to wrestle again, that week or whatever. Um, where triathlon, I feel like it's different, right? It's like, hey, you got a huge event on one day, right? Huge. And, it's kind of all the marbles on that day. Like you don't really get a mulligan, right? It's not like, oh, I'll come back tomorrow and, have a better day. So you might have a race, a couple months down the road. But when you're talking season, I mean, I guess it depends on many races. Just like knowing you guys, maybe 3 in a season, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I can, off the top of my head, I can think of people who race once, and then I can think of people who race like 15 times, dude, like way too much. Not that every single one of those is like a long distance triathlon or a marathon or something, but yeah, there's definitely people who race quite a bit, but I think a healthy number, yeah, you're right, kind of falls right within like between 2 and 4, maybe 5, like important. ish A or B races. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have that takes a lot of planning to focus around multiple events, sometimes different sports.
Mhm.
Like start the season with a triathlon and you end the season with a figure competition or some sort of bodybuilding or something like that. Two different sports entirely. I can think of I can think of a friend who's currently considering that, not necessarily taking the jump just yet, but very different sports. I mean, you got to do what you like too. Go ahead. What?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying I got to go now. Sorry.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were saying you were going to go from triathlon into a figure competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
I'm getting
Why is that?
I'm getting bikini ready, bro, you know?
I figured. I figured you would be.
Yep. Yep. This aesthetic,
Uh,
let me tell you.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, like once you're in it though, I mean, you're playing the maintenance game and can you build in season? I mean, that's a hard question to answer. Technically, I guess anything's possible. I can't say no, but that's not the time that you're going to rely on building anything or improving. Again, not that you can't, but have you guys ever seen that in season where you're improving anything? I can think of one example just because I use the example all the time, but and you guys I may have even used the example with you guys a few years ago. I can't remember if I have, but do you improve in season? Is that like possible? Like common knowledge? Do you think, okay, it's in season, I'm gonna get better at this?
You want to go first, Mitch?
No,
What's that?
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I mean, it really just depends though, because it's just like for me, it was like, I mean, obviously the Ironman was the first or the last thing I just did, but there's a few things that I did up until like maybe like a month or two out just to keep myself sane. Because I won't lie, I'm not like a steady state cardio guy. I honestly kind of hate it. So there was a couple things that I did to keep sane, which was like, I picked a couple, I guess you would say odd lifts that I wanted to work on, like a Zercher clean,
Yeah, yeah,
a kettlebell bottoms up press, and then what was the other one? A weighted pull up. So I think you can definitely improve on like certain strength exercises, even in like a in season for like a maybe like a conditioning based thing like an Ironman. But you just got to be smart with what you choose. Like for me, it was like obviously I was gonna try and hit like a PR on like a back squat or like a deadlift, just because unfortunately for me, I know myself, I know my knees. I'm not trying to destroy my joints, running and doing that stuff. So I guess as you get more advanced in the fitness, which I mean, all of us have been doing this for a while, you got to be pretty careful with the types of exercise I think you choose based off of the, ultimate goal that you have with your in season. But I would say if you're a beginner, you can probably still improve, like, like
sure.
your big, a bench, a squat, and a deadlift, even in like a in season, like for like a triathlon, just because you're not going to be, I guess you could say like, we've all been lifting forever. It's like it takes me, months to put 5-10 pounds on my back squat, as I'm sure
Sure.
it is for Mitch, and I'm sure it is with you. So it's like, closer you fly to the sun when it comes to strength exercises, in reference towards your like genetic potential, the higher chance you have for running a risk for injury. So it's just like, do you care more about putting, 5-10 pounds on a back squat, or do you care more about showing up to like, the race and feeling good, so just
Right.
like figuring out your priorities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good.
I was gonna. Kenny kind of stole my thunder, um, which which is good, obviously. I think you said training age, and I was gonna say, age of just the athlete in general, right? You have like a high school football team or whatever, and you keep the intensity pretty high throughout the season, but they're like their volume super low. I don't think
Yeah.
there's no like they might like, even if they're lifting 2 days a week, but you keep the intensity high and like they can totally recover from sessions and still be good to go in a game. Absolutely could probably get strong through the season. And I'm just correlating that to like training age probably because if you're a ninth grader, you probably really haven't been
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the iron game too long. And then I was also thinking too, it's like what are you like that's like an open question, like what are you getting better in, right? So like a triathlete or like someone that does triathlons, like they might get at swimming, running, their times could get better, like if that's what they're trying to do in the in season, right? But maybe their squat or deadlift might not. like on the contrary, someone that maybe competes in powerlifting, they could be getting stronger in their quote unquote season in the main lifts, right? Maybe it's not their time to PR in a 5K,
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
think,
Yeah.
kind of like if I'm getting ready for, a triathlon, I'm sorry, like Ken said, like my goal would not be PRing on my squat or my deadlift, right? I'm probably gonna see how I can push. Maybe I can see maybe I might PR in my fastest, like I don't know, 10K. I don't know, like just in a training day. I think it's more specific of what you're actually in at the time.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, it's just some notes that I took here. Like, I think it's the discipline of the athlete definitely matters. So to your point, the power lifter and the 5K or the 10K, like sure, maybe they have an interest in it, but is the timing of the in season for the power lifter, is the timing really necessary for them to go out and try to PR the 10K? I think that was a really good analogy. The exact opposite too, right? The endurance athlete and like you said, trying to PR the back squat, whether you're trying to or not. Like one, should you be trying to, right? That's a question that you both pretty essentially answered and said no, you probably shouldn't be. It's not really worth it, right? Whatever you said, Ken, right? You don't want to fly too close to the sun. You have to prioritize, which I think is great. But at the same time, I really think that it's also important, based on your sport and discipline, it can get monotonous and it can get boring, right? So finding, like, I think it was Ken, something you said, like your steady state got really boring or something, so you're like, okay, I'm going to find a couple really fun lifts or odd movements and just work on them a little bit. um I think that's a great idea. I actually love that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, I was just gonna say too. The program that I'm actually following now is actually called Old Time Strength.
Okay.
So it's basically just like a bunch of like unconventional like unilateral lifts, like bent presses,
Nice.
single arm deadlifts, single leg GHD, like back extensions. It's basically just like a bunch of unilateral stuff. I think another cool one, and there's it's called gosh, what is it called? It's called a javelin press. Like just a bunch of really cool things that I've never honestly like really kind of played around with and really pushed. But the funny thing was though is that after doing that for it's been about 12 weeks, I just tested my front squat today, and I haven't done a front squat probably in close to 8 months. I think about 5-10 pounds off of my PR today.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and everything felt freaking solid, man. So it's just like you don't realize like how important it is, especially with which we all know this. Like, if there's one type of person that probably needs to lift weights more than another type of person, it's probably people that do endurance, right? Especially when it comes to like I guess you would say like the acute like overuse injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's just finding something, man, that like doesn't destroy your obviously your priority in training, but also makes training still bearable. And I
Yeah.
love weightlifting, and that was the hardest part of all that crap for me was completely giving it up for the last like month and a half, 2 months is rough. But the other thing I was going to say though too, like what a lot of people don't realize is like toning back the volume with like, I mean, we know this, but a lot of people don't. Toning back the volume with like your regular whatever lifting program you're doing, you might actually come in and hit a PR just because you're not constantly jacked up. Like for me, I love working out so much, dude, that like if you left me in a gym and I have the time, I would train for 3 or 4 hours. Is that good
Mhm.
for you? No, but I just like doing it.
Sure.
So I think a lot of people would probably benefit if they just tone back the volume, focused on a couple key things, and then just kept on working at their whatever their goal is.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of jump on that real quick. I wish I didn't bring a pen to write anything down. Darn. But I was gonna kind of say the same thing. I think too, like in season. I think if you want to get better at anything, I would say, and this isn't like a Mitch like theory. This is like stuff I read and actually try. Like probably dropping the volume and jacking up the intensity would probably be like the best bet. Kind of get in, be efficient with the intensity, and get out, not just in there forever. I think training efficiency is big then. And then you were kind of talking about And I guess I wasn't saying, and I don't think you took it this way. I want people like listening that they don't take it this way either. Like I don't think I'm saying, or we're not saying that anyone that's doing a triathlon shouldn't lift. Like that's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying it might not be the time that you get. You're not actually piggybacking and doing a legit lifting program while lifting program, because obviously we know that a powerlifter probably would benefit from some sort of conditioning as well. And you know what I'm saying? Like they kind of do supplement it. And then it's funny you were saying like you've been using some different forms of from training as well. I know I'm kind of like I had a bunch of cluster thoughts in like one little string here. Dude, I'm like the same way. So I love to lift. Like if I do like strictly endurance, like I cannot wait to just like load up a barbell again. Like it just like eats at me. It's like if I get under the bar and like it's like stuff feels heavy, it just eats at me. But then on the same token, like if I'm like just doing like strength work, like I'll be like, I do not feel athletic whatsoever right now. Like I had that same thing. So like in some other stuff, I've been doing a bunch of sandbag work. So I have some like heavy sandbags. So I've been trying to do a bunch of carries, just like different carries, a bunch of just get ups. So I've been implementing those a lot. I guess I could have talked about that earlier, and they feel great. And then low impact, you guys brought that up. Been crushing the assault bike lately. So that's been love that thing. So pairing the assault bike with some sandbags lately, I feel great.
Dude, do you have your own assault bike?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Those things are sweet.
Yeah, and then I also I don't know what you guys think of the reverse hyper, but I battle some low back stuff every once in a while, and a dose of that like every training day. I've been feeling.
Well, I remember. Weren't you and your brother like made one at some point?
Made a reverse. Dude, I'd be dead if I made a reverse hyper.
Oh man, what am maybe I'm just thinking like you didn't have something, so
We might like a revert, like on a GHR, like
maybe I don't remember. It was a while ago, actually. I'm surprised I remembered that, but I feel like you just improvised something and it was really cool and it worked out well once. I thought it was a reverse hyper, maybe it wasn't, but
I think the back extensions like on a jacked up Yeti cooler.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Oh, that's good too, though. But dude, yeah, like, so back to your real quick. We're at our time anyway, but would the power lifter benefit from some form of conditioning or aerobic something? Absolutely, and that's just like being a human, right? You need to be able to do different things. Now, there's obviously people who just 100% specialize in one thing. We see those people like at the top of their sport or their competition or whatever it is. But dude, my opinion, frankly, if you're not that person, you got to be doing a little bit of everything anyway. So that's my opinion.
No, I'm right there with.
Yeah, I think we actually lost Ken a couple minutes ago. So is what it is. He hopefully. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
It could be having the kid as we speak.
Oh gosh. I cannot confirm, but I think he was done driving anyways, so he probably just like got out of his car to go home or something. But anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else, Mitch?
Oh man, I was going to chime in there, but I can't, I can't disagree with you on that one. Like I've just my own feelings. I feel like if I'm in a heavy, like endurance, it feels good to get in the weight room. And if I'm in a heavy strength portion, it feels good to get some sort of conditioning in.
Dude, absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah.
But,
I couldn't agree more. I go through those phases too. Like off season comes around and I'd consider I'm out of it already, but off season comes around and I'm like, lifting 5 days a week. Maybe I hit a sixth day and it's like, oh, I don't think I ran this week, or like I didn't push myself hard on the bike or whatever, or some form of like fun conditioning. Yeah, definitely. You feel weird. Like you might be feeling strong, but at least for me, I start feeling sluggish. I know we've talked about that before. So yeah, I definitely love hitting a little bit of everything and just like manipulating how much of each thing I'm hitting based on the sports season. So I still honestly do everything year round. It's just like to what degree and intensity and volume. That all changes for me personally. But anyways, that's all we got. This was episode 85. If you stuck with us this long, we appreciate it. This was a good one related to sports seasons, in season, off season, all that stuff, and what should be happening. So find us any and everywhere at Hill Pursuit, all the socials. Reach out via email, hillpursuit@gmail.com. Check out the website, hillpursuit.com. And that's all we have for now. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next time.